What's happening, everyone, and welcome to the Systems Lab Live. I'm very excited to be here with you all tonight. We're going to be talking about content operations. I'm very excited about this because I've been studying content operations for a little bit now. And so we're going to dive into this subject to answer 3 questions tonight. Number 1, what is content operations? uh, why do we need it? And then also, what's inside of it? Like what's actually inside of this thing called content operations. We will be doing, my favorite will be whiteboarding this out, which is always fun. Those that are on Instagram, I urge you to come on over to YouTube so that you can see the visual component with it. Yes, we'll just be talking to you all like I normally do, but please come on to YouTube. This is where the teaching, this is where the training is at. If you're here for the very first time, welcome to the Systems Lab Live. This is where I myself, Ashley Schuler, come on here Mondays and Wednesdays, where I help founders, I help small business owners increase productivity and efficiency using project management principles and strategies. So we very much always talk about projects, how to manage them, how to lead them. And I'm excited because this month we're diving into all things content operations, content workflows. This is exciting because, again, leveraging and utilizing project management as a process, right? As a process and a tool in your business to help streamline your business is awesome. Okay. And it is necessary. I'm a firm believer in it. Ashley Schuler, I'm a firm believer that every business and brand needs project management in their business. And so I'm excited to definitely show you all the different ways that you're utilizing it and you don't even know it. You don't even know it. So this is really cool. We're going to get into today's show and tell. I always love a good show and tell, folks, because it is very important that we look at the apps that we're using, the technology tools, and we ask ourselves these questions of how can this tool leverage an existing process or a process that I'm looking to create that will help me to be able to become more efficient. So let me bring up the app of the day. I do have my notes on the side, folks, because, I want to make sure that I am okay, cool, that I'm on target. So the app of the day is Dropbox, folks. It is Dropbox, and I'm going to do 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 do. I am going to show you Dropbox. Okay. I'm actually going to sign out of Dropbox. And I do want to talk a little bit about some of the features and things about it. So let me pull up dropbox.com so that you guys can know about that. So here's why I am emphasizing Dropbox. Many of you might be even Google Drive users. Same concepts, folks, but there's slightly differences within them. So the app of the day is Dropbox. Now, one of the key pieces of content operations is going to be, where are you storing your graphics, your logos, your assets, your digital assets? Where are you storing them? And you need a place to store it. And why not Dropbox? I love it because Dropbox helps me to stay organized for all things Ask Ash, Schuler Strategies Group, also known as Ask Ash Consulting, and everything in between, my volunteer activities, boards that I'm a part of, grad school. I mean, I have Dropbox I use it for everything. But I also use Google Drive for some more business things, right? And it makes more sense for Dropbox for me because just the functionality of it. I started off using Dropbox, so I never really stopped. I like the functionality of it, the way I can easily organize things and whatnot. it's great. I like Dropbox a lot. You can sign up for free. Well, hold on. Let me actually go down here and make sure that you make sure I'm saying what you can do. So no, you can't sign up for free. Okay. I love that. I was like, can you sign up for free? Let me go ahead and click on the pricing for you all so you guys can see that. All right. I think it's loading. Okay, pricing. So here's what they have here. They have plus, they have family, and then they have the business, the professional, the standard, and then the advanced. Okay. So those are the things that they have here. Get a little H2O, folks. All right. So let's get into the pricing. What is right for you? So you're looking at this, there's 2000 gigabytes, 3000 for professional, 5000, and then advances as much space as you need it, and that's for larger teams. Now here's the interesting fun fact about a lot of these different types of apps, whether it is ClickUp, whether it's Airtable, whether it's Google Drive, email marketing software. Storage is always going to be a factor in the price points. So always remember that. Always remember that. Storage will always be a thing. Of course, you have the different amounts of users. If it's yourself, that's great. Up to 6 family members. You might have some things with family members, right? Professional, 1 user. Then you also have 3 users as well for the standard, and the business, and then the advanced. Okay, so you can just look here. You guys kind of know what you need to do to sort of look at all these different things. Again, you're for sure going to see, different things that you can do. Dropbox is also coming out with different types of products within that suite. They have Hello Sign, which is a part of their family. They also have Dropbox Paper, where I have it. I have never used that before. I think I've a trusty and handy, between Google Docs and Notion. I'm good to go on other types of things as well. But Dropbox is great for you to actually organize all of your digital assets. Let's see, what do you have here? All types of things, I guess, billing and API and tiered admin roles, again, for more larger teams and things. Uh, and so here you go. Billed yearly or monthly. So this is where, again, when you get into smaller teams, you'll have something where it is $15 a user per month. So when you're looking at building content operations, and we'll take a look at this because I think it's important to note that a lot of these bigger companies, like your Nike, your Adidas, your Coach, where else? Folks like Dropbox, folks like Ecamm Live, a lot of these companies, these bigger companies, they have something called content operations, and so they'll need to have, technology and operations and a lot of things that are bigger. If you are a small business owner, you may not necessarily need all of that, but I want to start talking about content operations because you will grow and you can utilize these elements to start building the foundational pieces of content operations. So we're going to talk a bit about that, about what that is in a minute, but I did want to just talk with you through Dropbox. If you don't already have it, have it. If you already do have it and it's a mess, because a lot of times the organization within our content may not always be the best. But again, you want to make sure that you are utilizing Dropbox in a way that works and that's productive for yourself, your team, and or your clients. So what I would definitely do is start to organize your content by month. Start to organize your client folders in such a way that you can be easily share assets with your client. Okay, so that they know, that that's their folder, how you're sharing and that access piece to it. So I want to make sure that you, when you're utilizing Dropbox, just don't throw things in there. So something that I have to do, that I started doing, is I just started purging some of my old content. I'm talking about content from 2018 and 2019 that's all out of sorts, and that I'm putting into a folder that just basically says old content. And so last year I started creating my content by month, creating a folder that says January 2021. And then I had week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So whatever content I created, I would put it in by that week. And so that's easy for me, because when I go over to Airtable and I have my content repository and I'm looking at the date that it was created, it's easy for me to go to Dropbox, where I can go and look up the month, and I can go and look up that week, and then boom, I can go ahead and have it, right? Okay. So we are going to definitely, we're looking at this right now. And that's all I wanted to show you. It's a short show and tell, but it's important to note that you need to have a place to organize all of your digital assets. We're talking about logos, we're talking about your videos and your content and everything in between. So next up, we're going to transition into content operations. We're going to get to process and flow. This will be great, people. This is going to be good. I'm excited about that. Let me go and share the screen. All right. All right. All right. Okay, folks. So content operations, we're going to whiteboard some of this out so that it makes a whole lot of sense. I'm going to put this over. All right. So we have enough room, people. I'm actually going to go with a sticky today. I'm going to make the sticky right here. And I'm going to define content operations. Okay, we're going to get the definition of content operations. So I'm going to type it out right here. Type it out right here, this definition. Actually, hold on one second to pull it out, but I'll read it to you. Content operations is the combined foundation of people, processes, and technology. And let me pull this up. Here we go. Here we go. Boop. Content operations. All right. I'm gonna zoom in for a little bit, so we can see everything. Okay, that looks good. Okay, great. So content operations is the combined foundation of people, processes, and technology that allows an organization to effectively and efficiently manage its content life cycle from start to finish. The framework spans from strategy, creation, publishing, distribution, and management of content. Now, if you're already doing this, or if you're like, hey, this looks similar to what I'm doing, absolutely, you are absolutely doing all of this. But the companies are doing this at a interesting and very much high level. So they're doing this at a high level. So what we're looking at with content operations is we're looking at the people, the process, and the technology. So that's something that's really important that we get into. We're looking at the people factor. What do we mean by the people factor? Okay. What we mean is that we are looking at who is performing the task? Who's the creator? Who's going to be the author? So that's what we're looking at. We're identifying the who creates, who reviews, and we're outlining roles and responsibilities. Roles and responsibilities. Okay. That's what we're looking for when we are looking at the people factor. All right. So in a company, that means we're looking at the graphic designer. That means that we are looking at the blog writer. That means that we are looking at who else is out there? We got graphics, we got copywriters, we got graphic designers, we got video editors. These are the people, okay, that are responsible for the creation of the content. You probably will have, like in Nike and like these bigger companies, you'll have something, or marketing agencies, right? You're going to have people that are the content operations manager, the folks that are a part of the actual managing of the content and the producing of it. So I love that. I love that because that is important. So think of it this way, folks. When you're building out your team, you want to start thinking about, if you don't have already, the who. Okay. These are foundational pieces of your content operations. No, you may not have 10 to 12 copywriters. You may not have a Gary V, right? Gary V for sure has a content operations machine. Okay. You may not have all that, and that is fine. You might be on the lean side of the operation. So start to identify the who, and then of course the roles and responsibilities is what's going to be crucial. Outlining roles and responsibilities. All right. I think that's so important. I want to shout out Mark Overall, president of the Buffalo YPs, the young professionals. We met online through Zoom, through some of our Urban League activities, and then got to meet in person for BeastCon. So thank you so much for stopping by. So yes, roles and responsibilities, outline them. They're important. The people factor are always important when you're doing this type of work. All right, next up, we got process. We have process. Now, Systems Lab is always going to be talking about process. So let's get into that here. The process. The process is, we're looking at it from this perspective, people. The functions and the steps. The functions and the steps. Functions and the steps to completing the content ops tasks. Okay? You've heard of standard operating procedures. You've heard of that, folks. So you got SOPs, you got guides, you got all these things. The step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, what have you. This is where you start developing workflows, content workflows. Okay? Which is the process in which you are moving the task from different phases, from phase 1 to phase 2 or 3 or 4, onto completion. That's what we're talking about with process. All right. Take note of that. Take note of that. And remember that the content operations is a combination. And we've just looked at two: the people, the process, and the technology. Something that's so important that we should note is that this is about the content life cycle. The content life cycle, which means from the ideation to the creation. I'm speaking now on framework and workflow. The ideation, the creation, the review, okay? The copywriting piece of it, the review process, the publishing, and the distribution, and then the analytics. So that was just even this off the top of my head. That was just giving you a process guide for that. That's just giving you a process guide. I'm going to pull up a note too from, I think I have my Notion up too, because I think it's important to note that I read something, or I read, and then I also viewed a few videos from HubSpot that had a huge thing on content operations. But they talk about content ops, and I'm reading this off to the side, is that they talk about the product, the platform, and the processor and the player. Okay. And so that piece is, when we're looking at it from those perspectives, those are some of the elements. So you have, from content operations perspective, you're looking at internally, what's the people factor, and then the process. And then from an external factor, you're actually looking at it from what platform, and then also the product that's also being produced as well. So that might have gone over your head, but that's okay, because again, we're staying within our domain tonight, and we're just identifying what is content operations, which is this right here, and then we're getting inside to, like, what's inside of it, like what are all the pieces of it, and then why do we need it? Why do we need it? So we'll get into the why do we need it in a minute, but let's get into technology. Okay, let's get into the technology, because this is a huge part of it all. I'm going to go over here. We're going to get into the technology, people. I love it. Okay. Technology. Are you guys learning something new tonight? Let me know if you're learning something new. Drop a 1 if you're learning something new tonight. Because again, as I started studying this, I was like, this is game changing. So this is all about the tools, apps, software needed to produce the content. I also want to note right here, I'm going to put this right here, that inside of the process, again, project management, task management, right here as well. All right. Technology. So this is everything from Google Drive to the actual publishing, Buffer, Hootsuite, Planoly, bigger platforms, your website, all of these apps, right, that are needed to produce the content. This is so important. This is critical. This is crucial. Okay, this is what's going to help build out the content ops system, not just the production of the physical of what you see with your eyes, but internally, what are these tools? So even having a project management tool is going to be critical for the success of content operations. Okay, this is also things like the Adobe Suite. So Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, any of the other ones that are out there. So I want to go back so that we can understand the definition and then go through these pieces. So content operations is the combined foundation of the people, process, and technology that allows an organization to effectively and efficiently maintain its content cycle from start to finish. This framework spans the strategy, creation, publishing, distribution, and management of the content. So we have the people, which is all of the players that are involved in creating the content. This is the blog writers. These are the copywriters. These are the videographers, the video editors, the graphic designers, all of these individuals, the social media strategists. the content creators, the content strategists. These are all of these people make up the people piece of content ops. You want to make sure that the roles are clear and people know what they're doing, when they're doing it, and why that they're doing it. And most importantly, you need to know how they're connected in the process. Come on. Who's with me on this? This is so good. Process, the function, the steps. You need to be outlining those workflows. And we're going to define that on Wednesday. Oh, yes, the workflows. So that you know who is supposed to be doing what, what's the handoff, who's responsible for this, how does it get reviewed, what's the definition of a task being done, and then the technology. What are you using that's going to help leverage the process so that people can be productive and efficient in the work that they're doing? I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to mention this tonight because we're going to go deep tonight. There's something called Agile content marketing that, again, studying, learning how companies are doing these things, producing at mass levels. Agile content marketing. This is where companies have small teams, very small teams. Not very well, I guess small teams are just relative to what's happening. But they have teams of individuals who, for instance, what's another one? Social media examiner. Perfect. Social media examiner has a team. And listen, this is just by sheer observation. I'm not even a part of social media examiner, but I am looking at how they're producing blog posts, audio, podcasts, different types of social media content on their Instagram, Twitter, and all those other platforms. That's content operations 101 right there, which means that they have put together the people, they have the process, which I'm going to put a leap out there that they are working in an agile teams, which means that they have something called sprints, which are short batches of work in a like a week's worth of time. And maybe they do them in 7 days or 10 days. And they are literally having a process. They got a copywriter, they got a videographer, they got a video editor, they got a social media graphic designer. They are literally taking these ideas and concepts from the vision of the director, who knows, hey, this is what we're focusing on this week. Here's the content plan and the schedule and the campaigns. And you know what they're doing? They are literally going through and creating content. You know what I'm saying? And so this is something where they are doing it at a high level. They're literally like working, like it's almost like a factory. And again, I'm assuming for social media examiner, this is how it's rolling. And they are producing content. They're going through the process, whatever it is, and they're rolling through and they're producing it. I'm telling you, social media examiner, I mean, they are constantly all types of blog posts, all types of content that's out there. So that's important to note. And it's really, really important that we're understanding that this is how content is being produced. Technology tools, you got apps, you got the process, and you have the people. And so if you are someone that's a small business owner, maybe you have a nonprofit, this doesn't mean that you don't have content operations. Not at all. But what this means is that anything that you do within your organization has to have operations, straight up. And the people, the process, and the technology are most certainly a factor in how you go about being efficient in your business. And so all month, we're going to be talking about content and workflows. Next week, I'm having my very first guest on the Systems Lab Live, and we're going to be talking about workflows. Actually, we're going to talk about YouTube. And I'm very excited about this. This is going to be fantastic. So let's also talk a little bit about project management and task management. Again, when we're identifying people, you're going to need a tool like ClickUp that's going to help to produce all of the content pieces. That is how you're going to house and manage your content operations, your actual campaigns, your marketing campaigns, and your tasks for sure. You can do that in Notion if you have it, and you can also do it in Asana as well. But why? Why would this even be important? Like like for real though. Let's be real about this. Like why would content operations be something that people should literally know about? Like why? Like I would love to know in the comments why you think this is relevant. Then I'm going to actually write a few things down for you all. Well, number 1 is it saves time. It saves time straight up. What else? It's efficient. It's efficient. What else do you guys think that why we have content operations? Anybody else want to guess? Anyone want to guess why? Well, you can produce content in less time as well. And also too, you'll produce quality content. Those are some of the reasons. All right. So that's why. All right, we're going to give you a few reasons. It saves time because having a process in place will help you to become more efficient and you can produce content in less time. And also, by having a process in place, you're going to be producing more quality content. Why? Because you have a strategy in place. You have a strategy in place. Cool. How do y'all feel about content ops? How do y'all feel about content operations? This was fun. I wanted to give this introductory lesson to you all on content operations because this is something that as I began to study this, I was like, you know what? I definitely have to bring this to the people. This is going to be foundational to what we do and what we talk about all this month, which we're talking about workflows, we're talking about strategy, we're talking about engagement, we're talking about so many different cool things. And we're definitely going to get into ClickUp and what you can do to actually start building out your content ops inside of ClickUp as well. We again have a guest next Monday that's going to be talking about YouTube workflows, and I'm very excited about that. And yeah, we're going to have some more special surprises and guests. So this has been fun. Watch this replay. Watch this replay and start thinking to yourself, all right, what do I need to do to start operationalizing my content? Okay, let's think about that. If you are out there and you're just saying, well, Ash, I'm not social media examiner, I'm not Nike. You don't have to be those individuals, but I know that many of you have teams. And so the aspect of the content operations piece, you can take pieces and elements of this and start to implement this in your business. Absolutely. Organized to be able organized to be able to go back and review what got engagement. That's exactly right. Because there's an analytics piece to this as well. And that's something that we for sure we'll be reviewing this month as well. So being able to have your own content operations, your own workflows will be able to help you to be able to produce effective content, quality content, and you can be more efficient. So as you grow, as you start hiring, As you start to delegate, you will build out this process that's really going to help you to be able to um, do your best in terms of the production and the content. So thank you all for joining me tonight. We'll be back on Wednesday. We're going to be talking more about content workflow. We're going to be talking about that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So let's talk soon. And that's it. There is no challenge of the week for right now. We'll probably have one on Wednesday, but take some time, review this, and we'll be back soon. All right. Take care.